Hi, Stephanie. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. I hope I don't buffer too much today. I'm in another area. Well, I'm back in my usual area, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I had to call my telephone company, see what was going on. So I got about 30 minutes to talk anyway. It's not going to be a long live. Just waiting a minute or two. See if anybody else jumps on. I don't think it's going to happen. It's already buffering. Oh my God. All right, well, let me talk fast here. Hey, Rosemary. This connection is lousy again. So I'm just going to talk. Hey, 90 Lee, what's up? I just stalled like a second ago. Just stalled a second ago, so it's already not looking too well. How are you? I missed you, Nine. Where you been? Hey, Tracy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I just wanted to jump back on here because I gotta reconnect with y'all and get back on the consistent train of these lives to build back up my numbers and all of that. You know, I was in hiatus for a minute, so I'm back on the grind. I had to get my weight up, like literally, to get back on this. Hey, Lady B. So now I'm back on rotation. Back on heavy rotation again. You was working? All right, all right, all right. So the title of this live is How Not to Be Jealous of Other Women. And I was inspired to do this after perusing some other YouTubers, and their videos came up on my feed here on YouTube that I usually do not check out. And I really do it on purpose because, you know, I'm about kind of tunnel vision these days and really blocking out negativity or funneling energy towards things that don't give me a return, that don't educate me, that don't enlighten me, that don't make me a better woman. You know, I'm really, really focused on that. But I clicked on this one video where they were talking about how the Shade Room was dragging Gabrielle Union's baby for being unattractive. And I was like, what's wrong with us? Like, they were saying her baby was ugly. And of course, her baby is dark skinned, a cute baby. I'm like, the baby's just making a start in the world, and us, we have negative things to say about this baby. This baby, according to the internet consensus, is not attractive. And the commentator was calling people out for that. Like, you know, y'all always got something to say about dark-skinned babies. Meanwhile, you're complaining that people don't treat you equally. You're complaining that no one sticks up for you. And this innocent baby that's just a few months into the world, just been alive a few months, you're saying she looks like a or monkeys this and all of that stuff. So I liked how the commentator handled her viewers. She really called them out on their shite, and really reaffirmed why I really don't get into defending us along the lines of colorism and all that stuff, because we got just too much biases going on. We are not honest about how we feel. We're not honest about our own prejudices, and the fact that you could put 50 dark-skinned girls in a room and they'll still rank and file each other, like on whose nose is the smallest, or whose mouth is petite, or whose hair has quality, or who's a size 4 as opposed to a size 12. You still get a hierarchy. You put 100 dark-skinned girls in the room, you will create a hierarchy in that too. The most attractive of them are going to look a certain way, and the ones that are least attractive are going to look a certain way too. Even with all dark-skinned girls in the room. That's why it's a waste of time. But our problem generally is that we have this proclivity towards jealousy of other women. And jealousy is a disease. For the most part, it's a disease. It makes you feel horrible, just like any disease, just like any infection. It's a disease. And it's a disease, it's an infection that we are plagued with on a daily basis, from the moment you walk out your door and before you go back in your door in the evening. There's someone you're going to be jealous of in the course of your day. Hey, Angel. Someone or someones you're going to be jealous of in the course of your day. Before you go to sleep at night, you're going to be feeling badly about yourself because you've seen some other woman out on the street looking possibly the way you want to look, or having what you don't have, having what you'll never be able to have, or whatever it is. Right? Whatever it is. You ladies know how I feel about beauty. How I feel about what is really beauty and what we should be valuing. You ladies know I am, if you don't know, I am the Ugly Girl Ambassador. I'm the founder of the Ugly Girls Movement. The website is coming soon. A life coach, an artist, a poet, a spiritual advisor, a medicine woman, a relationship expert. This is what I do. I'm a healer. Put all that into one title, I'm a healer. That's what I do. So my perspective on beauty is very different from basically every other woman you'll ever meet, because I understand what we're chasing, and I understand that a lot of us are going to be chasing this illusion for our entire lives, and we're going to miss a big chunk of life because you don't look like so-and-so. Or because you wish you looked like so-and-so. You're going to miss a big chunk of your life, and a big chunk of your magic is going to be squandered away fretting about what you cannot biologically be. And you know the irony is that the women that you can't biologically be ain't biologically that themselves. When you wash the face off, when you take the weave out, when you take the girdle off, you don't know what's going on up underneath all of that you're jealous of. Most women are made up attractive. Most of us are made up attractive. The average woman you see on the street makes herself look attractive. She doesn't look like that when she rolls out of bed. She plays the magician when she goes into the mirror in the morning. She waves a magic wand and makes herself look more valuable than she actually is. Most women do this. And this is one reason why you shouldn't be jealous of any woman. Not none. Not none, not 20, not nobody. We're all magicians in this thing, trying to be more valuable, trying to market ourselves. And you're jealous? You're jealous of her? You don't know what steps she had to take, what setbacks and trauma she had to overcome in her life, and you're jealous of her? You're so jealous of her that you feel that you can't do what you're meant to do? That's the problem, you know. A lot of us take on jealousy so strong that we act retarded. We act fearful. We take on this personality of fear and retardation. Like we can't do anything that we want to do now because we're not like her. Because you're not like her. And she's out here playing the magician just like you. Fronting just like you. And you're jealous of her because her front is just a little bit better than yours. Her magic is just a little bit more skillful than yours and you're jealous? Come on now. Illusions. All of us as women are either masters, sophomores, bachelor degrees, associate degrees, maybe high school diplomas in illusion. Varying degrees of the same shite. That's all we are. High with expectancy. That's all we are. So there's no real reason to be jealous of any woman. Get your weight up. Improve yourself. Improve your skill level. Improve yourself. There's always going to be somebody better looking than you. Always. No matter what you do. Someone else is going to walk into the room and supposedly outshine you. If you let them. Because that's another thing. You can still run your show. If you're only concentrating on your magic, you can still be the star of your show. But that's always going to happen. So what are we going to do here? If it's contingent upon who's in the room, your self-esteem is never going to be stable. It's never going to be like this. It's always going to be up when certain people are around and down when certain people are around. You don't want to live like that. You don't want to live like that. Always up and down, always erratic, never feeling emotionally stable. That's hell. That's hell. So how do you get out of that? By doing the best that you can do all of the time, as much as you can. This is life, and life happens, and certain setbacks, and we all know that there's certain days we don't have the scruples, the concentration mode isn't there, the physical strength isn't there to do certain things. There's an up and down. There's a biorhythm. We're all under a biorhythm where there are literally certain times of the month where you are mentally stronger, physically stronger, emotionally stronger. All of us are under a biorhythm affected by the moment in time that we were born. There's a rhythm that you go through from the time you're born to the time you leave this earth. You're on a certain wavelength, as they say. We're all on a wavelength. Some people chart theirs and plan their lives around their biorhythms. Some people do that, which would be a smart thing to do. Because if you know during the middle of the month is when you're the smartest, let's say, then you could plan maybe taking tests around that time, or anything that has to do with mental acuity, mental stamina. You can plan it around that time where you know that you're mentally strongest. Same thing with physical. So certain people have this thing called life down to a science, right? They have this thing called life down to a science. So we know life happens. But ultimately, your value isn't because you're the best looking girl in the room. That doesn't make you valuable. That's just a circumstance of a moment in time where you just so happen to be somewhere where you are the most well-dressed. That's happened to me before. I've gone to events, weddings and stuff like that, and I'm like, good Lord, everybody here looks like a bum. The best dress here? What? And I'm feeling good. Then when I go home and take off my tutu, you know, and wash the face off and all that, it's just regular. I'm back to regular. Cinderella's back into a pumpkin again. Then what? Then what? Then nothing? Then I'm nothing? We can't do it that way. We can't do it that way. So your job, your role as a sister of mine, a practitioner of the information that I'm disseminating on this channel, is to know that consistency with your value is paramount. Being consistent with the thought of yourself and the value that you bring to your loved ones, to the world, in whatever capacity, is the headspace you want to live in at all times. Because this is what's going to dictate how you treat yourself. If you don't feel good, you're not going to eat good. If you don't feel good, you're not going to exercise. If you don't feel good, you're going to be in bad relationships. If you don't feel good, you're going to get used as a cum dumpster. He's going to put his penis in your mouth, ejaculate on your tonsils, and say, "Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye." All of these things are interconnected. So it's important for you to feel good about yourself. But we're not talking about the outer shell here per se, because that's all we focus on. And it's so trivial. It's so surface. And your body's going to change. You're going to change. You don't look the same as you did 10 years ago. So we're all progressing towards something. Some of us a little slower than others, but we're all changing. That's going to change. So to put all the stock in that, in the outer shell, in being sexually attractive, instead of all the other little juicy things that you could seed to make you irreplaceable, is a mistake. You want to be irreplaceable. And if you're an unattractive woman right now, there's nothing you can do in that arena, in that realm of attractiveness. There's nothing you can do to be irreplaceable there if you're an unattractive woman. And I'm just being honest about it. As an unattractive woman, according to what society says, and according to what I know, I'm just pretty much average. Some days way below average, depending on what's going on. Way below that, right? What makes me irreplaceable is not the way that I look. I already know this. And some of you need to accept that. And stop putting energy and woe is me because I don't look a certain way. Stop putting all your emotional energy into something there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Although some of us are. Some of us are trying, right? We got the lace fronts. We got the body magics. We got the diet pills. We got the extremes of all sorts trying to put us in a neat little package. We're trying. But we're trying under the guise of suffering. We're making ourselves suffer. Don't they say beauty is pain? Isn't that what we're indoctrinated with as women? Beauty is painful. Why does beauty have to be painful? If you're doing something in alignment with nature, how is it painful? Because we're not doing things in line with nature. That's why it's painful. That is why we experience pain, because we're doing everything. Beauty for us, for the average black woman, is not in alignment with nature. It's not. It's so far, it's all plastic. It's all chemicals. It's all artificially man-made. All of it. And that's why we suffer. That's why we suffer. We have to reject this thing. And as much as I talk about embracing the word ugly, right? Because I did a post today on Facebook saying how I love calling myself an ugly girl. And of course, it was crickets for a while there. And I expected it to be that. And I said that because it separates anyone's power to label me. Like if you think I'm not attractive, it becomes inconsequential. If you think I'm attractive, that also becomes inconsequential. When I take myself out of your rating system, because that's what everyone's doing. When they see you, that's what everyone's doing. Oh, she's a 5. Oh, 7.5. Well, her body look good, but her face kind of toe up. So I give her a strong 6. She ain't got no kids, so she'll bump up to an 8. I bump her up to an 8. This is what we're doing all day, male and female. And females especially. When I say no, I'm an ugly girl, you have absolutely no power. No emotional power over me at all. None. And I'm taking the beauty part away because I'm not going to let you rate my whole value based on how I look. There's too much other juicy stuff going on about me. There's too many other things about me that are fantastic and irreplaceable to just be judged. Just have the sum total of my value be on my outer appearance. I'm not going to let nobody define me that way. That part doesn't matter. Whether you think I'm cute or not, it does not matter because I don't put my energy into that. I don't put my energy into that. And those of you who are not so cute, it would behoove you to not put your energy into that too. And it's okay. So cute. I've been mistaken for a dude more times than I could recall. And then when I say, well, I'm a woman, I can't tell you how many times dudes were disappointed to know that I was actually a woman. Now that was a freak show. Like really, you wanted me to be a man, and you look heterosexual? There's that going on out here. All kinds of freak shows going on out here. When I tell them, no, I do have a vagina, they go, for real? Are you sure? Am I sure? Yeah, there's that. There's that. You have to give it back. Some of you are worried not being loved and all this stuff because you don't look a certain way. And because you're worried that you don't look a certain way, guess what? You're boring. You are dispassionate. There's no passion about you. You don't talk about anything interesting. There's nothing about you that once you leave the room, people will be whispering your name. Nothing about you. And you haven't cultivated no mystery about yourself, no uniqueness about yourself because you don't look a certain way. And the respect that you want. A woman's looks, as I've said so many times, is a tool. It's a tool. And please do not misunderstand me in any way or think me a simpleton for not understanding the power of being attractive as a woman. I understand it. I understand it. But it's just a tool. And I could say that as a spiritual advisor and the coach that I am to all types of women, from all races, all backgrounds, money, no money, or whatever, that it is just a tool. It does not immunize you from being battered, from being physically or emotionally harmed by men. Just because you're beautiful doesn't mean you're going to be treated well, that you're going to be respected, that you're going to have healthy admiration. So there's that. There's that part of it. Being beautiful is it allows you the ability to confront people, to have conversations, to get offers, but then your personality and your character and how you feel about yourself, in spite of what they may think, even as a beautiful woman, in spite of what they may think, is what's going to create the healthy boundaries that you need for not being abused, for not being taken advantage of, for not becoming a cum dumpster and all of that. So you have to provide yourself with the first line of defense, whether you're attractive or not. You have to, ooh, how did I get that? Hold on, y'all. Why am I, what's going on my screen? Okay. Oh my gosh. My screen. It's crazy. You have to provide yourself with the first line of defense based on how you feel about yourself. And anything that you feel about yourself that involves the feelings of other people are not stable. They're not stable enough emotions. They're just not. So you have to be careful with that, no matter what you look like. Wow, that made me emotional just saying it out loud. I never have. Wait, I missed something here. What did you say? I still hate taking pictures most of the time. And I'm still that person who was called ugly. So it is truly an interesting thing to experience on both sides and still not always be secure. Wow. I thank you for opening up like that and sharing that with us, Angela. I know it's hard, um, but your honesty is welcomed here. Um, I don't know who's watching and who might need the message, but there's a lot of sisters that feel like you. That just, they're just a little bit better at pretending. I know sometimes you think like you're like the only one that feels this certain way. But it's just that some sisters have mastered the art of pretending a little bit better than others. Because don't be fooled. Don't think everyone that takes a selfie likes the way they look. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Salkis, have you heard the term glow up? Many young women hope to look completely different a few years later. I'm not familiar with that term, glow up. What does it, when you say they hope to look different, what does that mean? Now I'm learning how to go for, just let go of looks, period. I'm worthy either way. Either way, I desire my inner beauty to shine. And that's what it is, Angela. I mean, Angel, excuse me. That your conclusion of inner beauty is a conclusion that every woman is going to come to eventually. Some of us have to a little bit sooner than others. But every woman comes to that conclusion eventually. Because every woman will question her value if it's based on how she looks. Every woman. Especially as you get up in age, especially as you age, you're going to question it. So some of us who don't look cute or attractive, we tend to have to face those things very early in our growth and development. We have to face the struggle with self-worth pretty early on. Pretty early on. Whereas others, the questions about their value and their worth don't hit them until maybe a midlife crisis. Maybe after they've had a few children and maybe their bodies have changed. They got stretch marks or saggy titties. They don't have the bounce back or the snap back they used to, or, or just menopause, whatever it is. But every woman questions it. And every woman has to find another reason to feel good about themselves. Every single woman is going to have to evaluate or reevaluate their lives when you see your structure changing. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Should we start submitting stories? Will they be anonymous? I have a story I want to share on Ugly Girls Club. If you want to be anonymous, you can be. You're welcome to have your name. I wanted to have pictures. The way I envisioned it, I wanted to be a visual thing. I wanted the stories along with your pictures so that women could really connect and see the faces with the stories, really, really connect as a sisterhood with each other so we can start really supporting each other on a real holistic level. So I didn't want it to be a whole bunch of anonymous, but if you have to be, if that's the only way you want to tell the story, then we don't want to miss out on the story. So it's probably going to be a little bit of both, but I don't want us to be ashamed. I don't want us to be ashamed of who we are. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of hearing that we're ashamed of who we are. We're ashamed of not being what people think we should be. We're ashamed of our mistakes. We're even ashamed of our gifts, of everything. And I think in healing, a large part of that is in peeling off the layers of shame. So many of you have been abused. You have backgrounds in that. There's a lot of guilt and shame around that. And trying to get these people who contributed to your abuse, you're trying to get them to have remorse or feel sorry or to finally give you love. And, there's a lot of that going on too. It's a whole bunch of that going on too. And most of us are wounded. Most, if not all, are wounded to some degree. And we're walking around here jealous of each other. Jealous of other women. You don't know if she sold her ass the night before, but you're jealous of her today. Jealous because you don't like you. You're not jealous because you think she's better. You're just jealous because you don't like you. You're waiting for permission to like you, to love you. You're waiting for someone to love you so that you have permission to love yourself. That's what we do. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. Glow up means that a girl was a supposed an ugly duckling that grew out of her physical shell, becoming a swan. When really a lot of these girls look the same. Look the same with more makeup. Exactly. And you said it. There you go. So now you've introduced me to another construct, another ideal that's been made up, floating around for young women to believe in, to make them feel better about overcompensation. They're overcompensating for their unattractive features, or so-called unattractive features. So this is giving them an out. The glow up is just, I wear these lashes and I do this and I put my hair on and all that stuff because I'm glowing up. You see how easy that is? You see how easy that is? Another excuse. Glow up is a term based on another excuse for excess, for doing things because more makeup and, more hair or more whatever isn't going to make him love you anymore. One day, all women come to that conclusion. One day, all of us come to that conclusion. The problem is the conclusion usually comes when it doesn't even matter if you know. It comes so late that once you know, it doesn't even matter that you know. That's the problem. That's the problem with young girls, because you try to talk to them and you try to school them. Well, not all, because what I find that most younger women are receptive to my information for whatever reason. I thought older women would be, but it's actually young career women want solutions. They do. A lot of them do. And they're willing to invest in themselves so they don't make mistakes. Older women are, pretty much know-it-alls. They've made excuses that they feel comfortable with to help them live with giving up. A lot of older women have given up. So they kind of distract or create distractions for that feeling of helplessness by pretending to be know-it-alls and all of that stuff. That's what I find with older sisters are just, all the women are not honest at all. Oh my God, to get them to be honest is like pulling teeth. They so good at lying. Once you get to a certain age, when you an old hoe, good Lord, old hoes don't tell the truth about nothing. Everything come out their mouth is a lie. You sit down with an old hoe, everything is theater. Theater with their ass. But anyway, that's another story. That's another story. This issue with feeling that way, if you let it bother you, it can hinder your life. That's the point. That's the point. It stops your whole growth. It stops your flow. It stops your black girl magic. It stops all of that. Being attractive may get you a conversation. It ain't necessarily going to get you a ring. Not necessarily. Not if you don't have anything up here to go with all of this here. If you got this and you're insecure, you're going to be used. And if you don't got this and you're insecure, you're going to be used. What's the common denominator there? You need this. You need this to be connected to this. You need a safe space. You need boundaries. Boundaries is how you communicate self-respect. You need to have all of that in place. You need to have a strong why for why you're here on earth. Why are you here on earth? Is it just to eat, sleep, shit, and piss? Is that it? Is it just to eat, sleep, doo-doo, pee-pee, have sex, and that's it? That's the sum total of your existence? For some, maybe, well, for a lot. For a lot of people, it is. For a lot of people, it is. But what I find with those of us who just feel restless, who feel like there's more to life, there's got to be more to life than this. Those are the types of people that there's a purpose inside of them that they haven't tapped into yet. And they're afraid because they don't look good. They're afraid they're going to fail because they don't look good. You know how many healers that I talk to who don't want to put themselves out there because they don't look a certain way? You can help somebody recover from something they're dying of. But because you don't look a certain way, you don't look like Queen Afua, you don't step out and let people know that you're here to help change the world. We're all victims to marketing. We all think people out here that we see are better than us and better than what they actually are. Theater. We're victims of the theater of society. That's the problem. Older people, I notice, don't like change, so they aren't receptive to listen. They don't like change, but they don't like problems. They know they have a problem. That's a dysfunction. You know you have a problem and you don't want to change? What's that about? You're dissatisfied, but you don't want to change? Listen, pray for flexibility of mind. Don't pray that you're always open to the best possible outcome. That no matter what stage of life you are, always pray not to be hard. Not to be, because older people are hard. Their hearts are hard and everything is hard. Their bodies are stiff and hard. Everything is hard. They're no longer fluid and flexible. Literally and symbolically and literally, they're not flexible. They're dehydrated. Like seriously, that's serious. It's true. They are literally dehydrated. You want to always be flexible. Always asking yourself, what's better than this? Is there something better than this for me? What's the best that I can do here? Be curious. Explore as a woman. It's all right to change lanes. It's all right to go left when you were going right. You have that authority as a woman to switch up. This is what women do. We always switching. We always doing something different. Right? That's the thing. It gets you a lot of unwanted attention and options, but either way, you're open to being taken advantage of and used. As you said, I was used as an ugly duckling and used at one point as a swan till I woke up. How about that? How about that? It happens on both spectrums. Both spectrums it happens. So don't think because you're an ugly duckling, let's say, that your cure is to try to be a swan. Your cure for everything you feel, every bad thing you feel about yourself is not tied up in being a swan. Because you could be a swan. Some women do turn themselves into a swan, but their character and how they feel about themselves don't change. It's like somebody who's anorexic. They're looking in the mirror like, I gotta lose 10 pounds, and they're already only 50 pounds. It's that kind of delusion going on. Is that level of delusion going on? That's not a cure-all. And if we would be more sisterly to each other, we would know this. If we wouldn't rank and file each other, classify each other based on worth, and divide ourselves into cliques and groups, and I'm dark, so I'm against light skinned girls, and I'm light, so I'm against dark skinned girls, and I'm skinny, so I'm against fat girls, and natural girls against girls with perms, and all that stuff, and it goes on and on and on. If we wouldn't do that, if we would really come together and confer degrees with each other, we would see, girl, you went through that shit too? Yeah, girl, what you thought? Right? When you sit down and have powwows with all types of sisters, you see that y'all more the same than not. Going through the same trials. Same trials and tribulations, whether you eating a tofu or steak. It doesn't matter. Then you realize how the same, how much the same we really all are. And how we all go through the same phases of life. The virgin, the whore, the mother, the crone. We're all going to go through that. And that's what it is. We need to really sit and talk. You're correct. We all the same. Yes. Yes. This thing called you're different, you're not the same as me, is, again, that's a marketing technique. Because as long as we have hierarchy, there's something for me to strive to be. If we're not all the same and there's something above me, then that's something that I have to get to. And whatever obstacles you put in place, like money, status, education, whatever it is, for me to get to that point, I'm going to be willing to pay it, because you've decided, or you've made that point the pinnacle of any woman's existence. So I'm going to sacrifice my money, my time. I'm going to go get whatever it is I got to get up to that point. But that point is an illusion. That point is still an illusion, because there's still slaves up there too. Still slaves. There's still women up there who got to eat, sleep, shit, and piss like everybody else. Worry, want love, trying to raise children, trying to pay bills, just like everybody on the bottom too. So the whole hierarchy thing is marketing. It's an illusionary construct to make you spending your money, to make you take your power out of your pocket and put it up here, which is, your power is your energy. You're giving your energy to these women that you think are more beautiful than you. You're giving your energy to them. You're validating them. You're worshiping them. You're acknowledging that they're better than you. You give your power away. You give your power away. So the only way to cure jealousy is stop giving your energy to people. Save it for yourself. There's things that you've got to do. There's things that you've got to do. And you giving energy to people who don't even know you exist. People who don't care about you, don't know you exist, don't reciprocate. Don't do it. It was amazing, just women performing femininity, enjoying it without the anxiety of measuring yourself against the hierarchy men. And other women have put there what is feminine. Oh, you got pole. You talking about pole lessons? Oh, people were teaching each other and praising each other. Okay. Well, that's a nice, gathering to do. it gets deeper than that, because again, those are the typical things that we offer. Things that are sexually based are usually tied together in or associated with self-esteem. For us, we're always sold something that is sexually based as sort of a way to make us feel good about ourselves. It's always going to be sexually based. That's the problem. But anything to make you feel good, if workout, I'm all for it. If you're doing it to work out and all that, that's great. That's great. But there's we got an issue in this society with sex. And the problem with sex is that it's separate. It's a separate thing from health. It's a separate thing from love. It's a separate thing from a woman wanting a family, wanting to be cared for. Like sex is just sex is just something that you do, like going to the grocery or taking a dump in the toilet. That's just something that you do. It's not connected to anything else. That's the problem. That's a big problem with how sex is thought of, because it's really not associated with care and love. It's very hard for the average man that you meet today who watches porn. He's not capable of loving you. A man who's addicted to porn is not capable of love. He's not. He's not. And a lot of times, we get with these guys and, we try to be a trooper. We try to be down for the cause. We're so hip and we're so knowledgeable about this, that, and the other. We want to look real knowledgeable, right? We don't want to be squares. So we go along to get along with all his perversions and things like that. And he wipes himself off and he goes along his business. He might say thank you. You might have got a burger out the deal, maybe a foot-long Subway, and a big gulp or something like that from 7-Eleven. You might have got that. And that's about the extent of it. But you have to start looking at intercourse and sex as you're tying yourself to another human being. He is now responsible for you. And we don't look at it like that. We just look at sex as something to do, something that I want to do this weekend. And we wonder why so many of us are emotionally unstable. We wonder why. We wonder why. So the average man who's into that porn life and all that stuff, if you were with a man who's addicted to porn, run. I'm like, do it like Usain Bolt. You need to run out of there. Run. He's never going to love you. Never. And a lot of these guys can't even perform. A lot of these guys who are addicted to porn, in real life, they can't perform. They can't get it up. Because like I said in so many lives before, their threshold of excitement is so far beyond anything you could do when you take off your clothes that it's like he's dead. He's numb. The amount of stuff he has to see to get an erection, there's nothing you could do. You can't drop your panties and get him that excited as the stuff that he sees on the screen. That's over with. He's spoiled milk. He's spoiled milk. And you might be too, if you're addicted to it too. Not just him, but you too. But this is how we live. Everything is sexually driven for us. No care, no love, just sex. That's it. Not here to talk about it as it's a wonderful thing. I just know both sides are being picked on and overlooked to a lot of attention. I wish more women spoke on it. I know I need what I need now. Well, it's the attention you get. I don't really want to go. Alright, I don't know what that is. When you feel anxiety or jealousy arise in your skin, how do you control that feeling? How do you control your natural reaction? Well, being aware of it, and I like questioning yourself. I'm like, oh, what? Why am I feeling like this? What's that about? Like, you have to start questioning yourself. What am I jealous of her for? I don't even know her. Like, talk to yourself. Why am I feeling this way for a total stranger? Why do I think she's better than me? I have no idea who this woman is. And even if I did, whatever she's got going on is her business. And you have to tell yourself that. Whatever she has is her business. It has nothing to do with me. You have to start getting personal again. When those kind of feelings arise, you're coming out of yourself and trying to live in her world. You're stepping out of your body spiritually and trying to jump into hers like a specter, like a ghost. You have your soul jumping there. You got to come back into yourself. You got to re-emerge into your own self. Pull your own self. Pull your soul back into your chest and say, wait a minute now. What she has is her bag. I'm holding mine. I'm holding mine. That's how you do that. Imagine it as your soul, as your soul trying to jump out your own skin and pull your soul back into your body. Like, where are you going? You're mine. She don't need my soul. I need my soul. Where are you going? We don't know this chick. And you don't. You don't. What any woman has is irrelevant when you're doing the best for you. And that's the next thing. The only way to really sequester jealousy is when you are always striving to do the best you can for you. You are living in guilt and doubt is usually because you're lying to yourself. It's usually because you don't have no follow through. It's usually because you're lazy. It's a sum total of all those things that will make you live in guilt, which makes you walk around like everybody's better than you. When you live in guilt, everybody seems like they're better than you. And you live in guilt because you don't follow through on your own stuff for your own self. You're not doing the best that you can for you. You put more energy into sulking and complaining than you do in actually following through on something. And that's a problem that we have as women. We just talk. We like to talk. We're not solution based. We don't really want solutions. We want to be heard. We want to be nurtured. I want you to do my hair. You can braid my hair or scratch the dandruff out my scalp or something, or feed me and I'll feel good. That's all we want. That's about the extent to our solutions. Just make me feel good about what I am right now. I don't want to change. Just make me feel good about me as I am right now. This is the average woman. And this is why you feel disgust for yourself, a little disdain for yourself, a little bit shame for yourself, a little bit of guilt for yourself, and any troglodyte walking around the street with a little bit more booty than you, somehow she's living La Vida Loca in your mind. That's what it is. That is what it is. You have to soul retrieve. When you see somebody and you getting jealous, retrieve your soul is what you do. Yank it back in like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where you going? Where you going? Thank you, Sierra, for the donation. I'm in my mid-20s, and it seems to be one of the main things that people around me seem to be interested in the most, value the most, being sexy. Well, yeah. Our society is built on how women feel about themselves, because in how women feel about themselves, However you feel about yourself determines where you're going to put your money, where you're going to put your energy, who you're going to have sex with, who you're going to allow to have sex with you, and all of that. So we make the world go round based on how we feel. And how we feel is always dedicated upon how we look. We've been indoctrinated that the two of those things go together. If you look good, you feel good. If you're attractive, if you're sexy, your bills are going to be paid. You're going to get your coins. I'm not saying it's not true, but look what women are doing to get coins out here now. Look what kind of extremes they're going to be beautiful or exceptional in order to get these coins now. And what's going to happen to these women? How are they going to look 10 years from now? 10, 15 years from now. It's not about health, which would be the real focus, right? It's not about that. It's about sexual attractiveness. That's all it's about. And we're going to pay for that. We're going to pay for our preoccupation with that. If we don't get, if some of us, if we don't get off that train, it's going to be nothing nice. Nothing nice. So the reality, what's it, Belize Hooney? The reality is that you in your 20s, based on society, are in your prime. You are at an age where you can basically get any kind of man, because every man, no matter what age he is, wants a woman in her 20s. Whether he's 20 in his 20s himself or whether he's 65, he would welcome a woman in her 20s. So, according to our society, you are prime select, grade A beef, as they say right now. You're grade A. And when you hit 30, they're going to call you middle age. They're going to be like, well, you know, she's all right. You know, her eggs ain't dried up yet, which is true. You're still going to have some sexual market value if you're in your 30s, and especially if you don't have kids. You know, you could pretend like you're 25 if you're 32 with no kids. You can still pretend. You can act like it. And then as things go on and stuff, as you go on and you hit the 40 mark, then, you know, stuff starts going down. If you're not well kept, if you're not at the gym like Angela Bassett and eating Ezekiel bread like she do, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. So you really, really, you know, that's just how this thing is. So I would tell any woman in her 20s, listen, now is the time to choose what you're going to choose to set up for the rest of your life. You don't want to wait until you're 35 to think about settling down, because once you're 35, the 100 men that wanted you at 25 is now down to, I want to say 50, but it'll be less than 50%. Less than 50%. You got 100 men that'll chase you down now. 200 men that'll chase you down now. When you're 35, it might be 40. And when you're 40, it's 20. 20 men, 20 or 15 or maybe even 10 men might want you. And that's if you don't have more than 2 children. If you have more than 2 kids, you might have 3 guys that old hound dogs that just, you know, really, really like you. You might have 3 old hound dogs that really, really like you. And that's what it is. So whoever's checking for you now, my sister, whoever's making offers to you now, consider it. You know, don't do nothing foolish. Consider it. But like I tell all my coaching clients, women, there is no phase of your life where you should be like willy-nilly. Every plan, everything you say yes to affects your entire life. Like everything. That's how you have to look at it. What you say no to now, what you turn down now, or what you give into now is going to affect you 10 years from now. It's going to affect your entire life. And you have to know that. So when you have that in your mind, like, okay, this decision is going to plague me for a good 10, 15 years, I really got to think this. I really got to think this through. What happens with a lot of young girls is that, I got time and I got time and I don't have to do this now and I don't want this and I don't want that. And then when 35 hit, they wish they had the offer that they had at 25. They wish they had that same exact offer that they had at 25. Now they're like, well, that wasn't so bad. And actually, that was pretty good. But at 35, the 100 men that wanted you is now down to 40. And of the 40 men that are checking for you, you only like maybe 15 of them or 10 of them. So your options of the 10, there might be 2 in the 10 that's worth their salt. That's how you got to think. That's the numbers game you got to think about. Don't blow your 20s away on some I'm going to see the world. You see the world with a dude who got money, who fronting you. You can see the world with him. You can see the world with him. Life don't stop because you're married. And I wish we would stop putting that out there like there's no life to live if you decide to settle down with the guy that your life totally stops. Why? Why does it have to be that way? With a man that wants you, your life is not going to stop. That's the thing. A lot of us want men who don't want us. That's when life stops. That's when life stops. But if the man wants you, not you wanting him, if he wants you, your life has just begun. And that's how you got to think about this thing. That's really how you have to think about this. Your life begins with a man who would fall on a sword for you. That's when your life begins. Because he's gonna pave the way to make it easy for you. To make it easy to buy the tickets to So that's how you gotta look at it. Oh no, so I'm done at 42 with 4 children. You're not done. You ain't never done. It just becomes, a little more challenging. But it's not that you're done. It's not that you're done. You have to be extra careful as a mother of 4 children that you're not seen as a warm bed and someone who always has food in her fridge. Because that's how a lot of single mothers are seen. Men know if you have children, you got food in your fridge. And your lights are on. And your vagina might be quivering for some grown attention. They know this. And you could easily become a target. That's what happens with women, older women who have children. They're easy targets. It's not that you can't get something, but getting something of quality that wants the responsibility of you and another man's child. Yeah. That. I really do want to settle, but I do get jealous of my friends sometimes. So video topic today was perfect. Okay. Well, that's okay. You're getting offers, so you're not dead in the water. As long as you're getting some offers, then you can pull in something. So that's good. We just want to choose wisely. We don't want to choose any and anything. We don't want to choose based on looks, especially if it's few and far between because you don't look so hot. then it wouldn't be constructive for you to base your decisions heavily on his looks. That wouldn't be your lane. His character needs to be intact. His ability to earn money needs to be intact, because he is definitely going to be an investment. I mean, for any woman, but especially in your case where your options are limited, you have to choose conscientiously. You have to really be scrutinizing in your choices. You don't do nothing willy-nilly, or let's wait and see kind of thing. You don't have that leeway. You don't have that wiggle room to line anybody up. So you really have to be strategic when you're not getting that many offers, and thinking about your bottom line. That's what you have to do. So I have no kids, but I lived as a straight woman, then a lesbian for many years, until recently I'm back to men. I attract young guys in their 30s too, so for some reason I notice and realize I want kids at 44. Well, Angel, you're the perfect example of, how decisions play out in our lives. It's going to be harder for you at 44, than it was at 30 when you were exploring your sexuality and all that. We pay the price for our decisions. We pay the price for our decisions. Listen, you're not going to get around paying the price for your decisions. And this is what I want all young women to understand, that you are going to pay. You're going to pay. You're going to pay for your indifference. You're going to pay for your, for waiting. You're going to pay. So, it's not for you to be scared. It's just for you to be conscious. Be conscious that everything you do yields a result, that some results last a lifetime. Some results of the decisions that we make will last your entire life. That's what you need to get in your head. It's the mathematics of life. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. So there you go. Now, you got memories. You got memories, but you don't have no results. We're not living life for memories here. We're living life for results. Two totally different things, and two totally different outcomes when you exercise either modality. Two different outcomes. One will have more regrets than the other. One will have more accomplishments than the other. So you have to decide, based on, some people just want experiences. They're not really looking for any particular result or any particular destination or anything. But that still leads to a destination. No destination leads to a destination too. No aim, no goal leads to a result also. You are not getting around that. That is one of the laws of life. Cause and effect is what it is. You are not getting around that, no matter what your intention was, what your motive was, what your thought process was at the time. It doesn't matter. If you were a good person or a bad person, it does not matter. Thank you, Kawhi. Thank you. So, because my option pool seems limited because I don't have social media and I don't know where to go to meet a guy. You have to get out. Men are everywhere. I don't think there's one place to meet a guy. Men are at the grocery store. Men are at the library. Men are at concerts. Men are, if you go have cocktails or a restaurant, the beach. Men are everywhere. So it's not about where to go to meet them, unless you go into one of those what do you call those things? The speed dating things. I don't even know anybody who's ever met anybody of quality doing stuff like that. But men are everywhere. You have to learn to talk to people. The problem with our society now is not that you don't have a social media account, is that people don't know how to talk to each other. It takes nothing to start a conversation. Hi, how are you today? That starts a conversation. People are scared to make eye contact. You walk down the street, how many people make eye contact with you? When you walk down the street, when you walk in the mall and stuff. Because I watch people. I make it a point when I'm out to make eye contact with people. And so many people will look away. I look them dead in the eye and they turn their heads. Grown people, teenagers, doesn't matter. Men, women, it doesn't even matter. People turn their heads. Very few people. Only the old folks, like the old ladies, say, "Hi, baby, how you doing?" An old lady knows how to start a conversation, cause she talks to you like she knows you. The only people I know that really know the art of conversation are the elderly, because they're before all of this social media nonsense, where you had to pretend to be somebody in order to feel good enough to say something. You need 100 likes in order to feel good. They're before all of that. And you can sit down and talk with them for hours. So, you gotta start doing that. Just talk to people more. You have to magnetize yourself, Rosemary. You have to become a magnet. And the more you talk to people, the more you magnetize yourself for meeting people, for conversations, for the interactions that you're looking for. That's the thing. That's what you need. That's what seems to happen ever since most have put their life on social media, digital existence. Yeah, people are not talking anymore. They'll talk online, they'll talk all their business, all their problems, everything. And you see them in person, it's like the head's down. The head's down. So that's what it is. So you guys, I gotta go. Um, I hope this live has helped you, all figure